All right. So I'm here with my co-host today, Duck. We're going to be talking about a little bit of self-improvement in chess. So Duck, what is like when I say that to you, self-improvement in chess? What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, the most tradition in the most traditional sense, I would think about playing your games, playing the long games, and analyzing them on your own, and then run them through with an engine to help you right after. Studying the chess books, going after master games, all this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think all that stuff is key. And
yeah,
the biggest thing you said that really hits home with me though is the analyzing of your own games and the master games.
yeah.
But
The reason why you should be analyzing your own games right after you play them by hand is because you wanna put in your initial thoughts. You wanna because sometimes we have like some regrets in our moves.
yeah,
And we put these moves maybe on like a on the file or something, and then after that, once you've completely analyzed the game by hand, then you turn on the engine to analyze for you, and then you compare, was my analysis correct or incorrect, and if my analysis is incorrect, then you have to figure out why it's incorrect. It's a very it's a very time consuming, but it is very rewarding process.
yeah. I mean, do you feel like you have to walk out of that with like learning something from that too? Like, oh wow, like I didn't even know I could do that, or
Yeah,
wow, I could do this.
yeah, I feel that way about many games. Almost every game you learn something. Sometimes you just fuck around. You have some tactic that you memorized, but more times than not, you'll learn something new.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Just chess has so much knowledge, right? Because like there's so many different tactics, there's so many different mates, there's so many different
Yeah.
openings, there's so many different end games. I mean, it's just information galore, right? And
Hmm.
I think I read somewhere, Doc, too, that chess was the second most written on thing besides the Bible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
It was like,
just to think about that,
yeah, the Game of Kings.
the history of it, man. That's
Yeah,
what intrigues
that's
me.
actually pretty impressive
It is.
because just back then was the Game of Kings. So therefore, why would you learn it if you were a peasant?
That's actually a great like thought thing because you wonder like were peasants even allowed to touch the board?
I mean, they had it. I remember reading something that even monks played chess, but it wasn't allowed.
Okay.
Like they were forbidden to play it, but they still knew how to do
Who do you think the king plays? And if the king loses, do you think he chops off that guy's head?
it. The king probably plays a paid actor who's worried about his life.
Like the
He
jester or
just didn't.
something, the court jester.
Yeah, the court jester, or maybe he has a coach and uh someone who he respects and doesn't care about losing.
No, he's got to call up the Turk on his mobile phone and say, "Come on over, I
Yeah,
want to play a game."
yeah. Just hit him up and be like, "Yo, you need to teach me some new tricks."
Yeah, shoot him a text.
Yeah.
It's only what 1500 BC.
Yeah. Just send a letter. He'll come over in a month.
Yeah, in his
from
wooden
from
box.
from Turkey, bro. I don't even think Turkey existed back then. Like, yeah, I think it was just like the Persian Empire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wasn't it like pretty much like it was like Greek, like Rome and Greeks and stuff like
yeah,
that?
yeah. The Roman Empire. Yeah.
The Greeks, the Persians, like you said.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's how I imagine it would go down back then.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think about because chess was an exclusive thing. Yet you say it's the second most written topic in history.
I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. Yeah,
Uh,
next to the Bible.
yeah, that's quite an interesting fact.
Yeah, and then also look how long it's been played for. What do you think kept this game around? Like, eventually, like, why didn't somebody just throw it away?
Maybe it's the complexity of it.
And
Chess,
think
yeah.
about the man or the people or the persons that came up with this game.
Chess is almost like a universal game. It's not very hard to learn the rules, how the pieces move,
No,
but
but
it takes a lifetime to master. And even then, can you really call it mastering?
no, there's a good quote on that too. So it says you can master chess, but you can never master chess.
Yeah, yeah. That's a cool quote. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that was a thing.
So there's so many variables that they say there's so many positions obtainable in like on the board of chess than there are atoms in our universe. I mean, that's just
Hmm.
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And think about, like I said, either the person or persons who sat down, almost 2,000 years ago and just sat down and just came up with this game. Like like I try to put myself in that person's shoes and just think like, okay, I'm sitting there one day twiddling my thumbs, I'm in some field, you
Yeah.
know, and now I just decide I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go get a piece of wood, whittle some wood into a board square, carve out some squares. I'm gonna make some
Mhm.
pieces and say this one can move this way and this one can do this. It's just crazy,
It is crazy. It requires a lot of creativity
right?
for it to hold for all these years. I think the last time chess changed, like the rules, was the 14th century when they introduced en passant.
Yeah, and
Or
I
yeah,
only
yeah,
think so many things have changed though, right? Not too much has changed, right? Like I
nothing's
remember the queen couldn't move as well as she does
yeah,
today. Pawns can only move one square,
yeah.
right?
The first ever recorded chess game was like in maybe in the mid to early 1400s. It was a Scandi game too.
Wow. I mean
Yeah.
that's like 600 years old.
Yes, that's the most modern version of chess. Was 600 years old.
And that's
At least I
modern?
think so. Yeah,
It's crazy.
the first ever recorded chess game.
It just has a lot of rich history, man.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
the full of interesting people.
and what I've heard the most of, what most people like, where they gotten better off the most is tactics for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, tactics is important. I think tactics and strategy should go hand in hand because you can be really good at tactics, but if you cannot get a good position, well, those tactics aren't going to be all that useful.
Right.
And vice versa. You can get a good position, but if you can't find the tactical blow to finish someone off, then you just have a good position.
Yeah, and
Then
then
what?
also tactics are not every single move.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a tactic every single move. So what are you looking
No.
for then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
You're
gotta,
you're 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 almost playing hope chess. If you only know tactics, you're just playing hope chess
yeah, you're
because
just moving
you're just
pieces at
hoping
that
they
point.
fuck up. Yeah, you're hoping for a random blunder. Yeah.
So when you go to move a piece, you don't even know why you moved it there. You're just like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta move a piece.
Yeah.
The clock's running.
Yeah. So it's a hand in hand thing. These two must be combined to create
Yeah, I'd
the
have to
ultimate
agree
chess
with you
player.
100%.
Yeah. But this stuff is all hard to learn. What do you think is the evolution of a chess player? Like from beginner to the highest levels. How do you think
Oh
they
wow.
go about
I
this?
don't know. That's the other thing that blows my mind too. Do you think they just have like some like natural gift already?
Yeah, but the gift can only take you so far
I
sometimes.
don't know, because I feel
Because
like you like
you
not
you
every
have to
like
put in
I
a
feel
lot
like
of
if I
work
studied
too.
chess for 15 hours a day, Doc, that if I did that for 10 years straight, 15 hours a day, I still don't feel like I would be a
Yeah.
grandmaster.
Uh,
I just don't.
it could be quite possible. Almost anyone could be grandmaster if they just put in the quality in
See,
studying and the
I
effort.
think
But
it's
this
more
is
than that, dude. I think they just have something in their brain.
yeah, could be that. So, some of them are just naturally intuitive.
Yeah, they see patterns so fast, you know what I mean. Like and they grasp this shit.
Yeah,
Like the story about Magnus, about how when he was a kid, he would memorize all the flags of all the countries,
yeah,
and he would know all the population and be able to recite that back without looking. And that helps him out in his chess game nowadays.
yeah. But I think you can get really really far
You can. I
just
agree with
by
that. I
just by
agree with that.
studying. Like international master doesn't seem that out of place.
Yeah, but how
If you
hard do you
really
think
want
you
to
got to
dedicate,
work for that?
yeah, you have to. If this is the only thing you're doing, like your only hobby, then it looks very feasible.
Yeah, but
You
even
have to be
then, don't you
very
think it's
consistent
still you
with it.
gotta like output a lot of time and effort?
Yeah, you have to output a shit ton. Yeah.
You got to do your tournaments, then you got to get your rating up, you got to do your norms,
Yeah. So
then the studying.
okay, what? How do you think a beginner progresses?
Honestly, you know what I'm gonna say? Like for me, it was just playing the games, cause I'll be honest. Like right here on this episode, like live recording, dude, I was so afraid to play a game against somebody online when I first started playing. I literally had to like keep playing and like get past that. Like I was so scared to lose, dude. I don't know what it is about chess. Like chess is just one of
Yeah,
those games. Like it like really fucks with your psyche.
yeah, because if you lose, you feel stupid. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people mistakenly put chess in the same category as intelligence. Like your chess skill is your
Nah.
intelligence. Is
Yeah. I don't believe in that. Do you?
no, I don't believe in it, but people feel this way.
They do.
I think
They
it's
do.
like it's like a popular thing where they lose, they start calling themselves stupid, blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
And I think just because the game was so complex and I
Yeah.
didn't know anything about it, but yeah, that was one actually. I don't know if you knew that or not, Doc, but yeah, that was one of my fears of even getting past playing people.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, you know mine. It was just trying to play the best game I can every single game.
Right.
But sometimes you have bad days, and that was unacceptable to
Yeah.
have a bad day. Yeah.
But I feel like your strive for like trying to play the perfect game every time. I think that it kind of helps you though.
Yeah, it helps, but when I mess up, it goes downhill pretty fast.
Yeah, but that's just something you just need to work on, which I feel like you've done that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
but it
know?
just shows how much a person really cares about the quality of the game.
Yeah.
Because I could lose and I don't care. I mean, I've played Kamsky, I've lost and was still proud of it because I put up a really good fight.
Right.
Stuff like that. It's not about winning or losing. Maybe winning and losing isn't a real thing because after all, chess, like life, is the search for truth. So I'm just searching for the truth, and
I mean, could it also been
sometimes you
that
have
you were just
stumbling
searching
blocks.
for a comparison? Like you wanted to see
Yeah,
like how well you could do against
yeah,
guys,
and the curiosity factor is a huge thing for me.
right? So you make it
Yeah,
to like what, move 1920 with
right.
a high super GM, you
Yeah,
know?
then you're like, huh, I'm not losing. I'm actually quite equal in move
Right.
1920.
You didn't
Yeah.
blunder any pieces, you
Yeah.
know, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would just have to say that's very good. And the only reason that you were actually better at one point in one of those games, the only reason that you lost is he made it so goddamn difficult.
Yeah, I remember that
You
game.
know,
Yeah.
put you in only moves territory, and
Yeah.
that's very difficult.
Yeah. I had to get like maybe 3, 4, 5
Yeah,
only moves in a row.
which is
And
tough.
obviously, yeah, I messed up the last only move, and we looked at it with the engine. It was quite crazy. Like Jesus, it was.
Right, but it feels good that you hung in there with the super GM.
Yeah, yeah, and I was actually winning too.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
and he said it on a stream.
yeah, he was not too happy with that game.
And I would have to say we can come back around to back to the self improvement thing because we were looking at a lot of like Scandi Master games for a while.
Yeah, those were some of the best study sessions.
Yeah, it really showed me like how to like play the game, finish it out, look
Yeah,
for the weakness and stuff like that.
yeah. How to create weaknesses too. This is
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
Long-term weaknesses,
Pawn
overextended.
structures,
Yeah,
strategy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
for
When we yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say for a guy, I feel like I feel like I'm pretty strong. I don't do a lot of tactics, man, and it's not that I
Yeah,
don't like doing the puzzles. It's like for some reason I have this like this conception like I have to always be with somebody when I'm playing chess. Like I
yeah.
can never play the game on my own.
It. I think for you and maybe me as well, chess is more than just a game. It's also the human connection.
Yeah, I
It's like a
think
language we both share.
I thrive for that. Like I live for that.
Yeah, yeah. So my idea of chess improvement is the journey is okay. We start off, we learn the rules, how to move the pieces,
Right.
um, special moves like check, um, and en passant. So we learn all this stuff, and then we have to start diving into the games, and then we start learning the principles of chess. And the
That's
principles will take us pretty far.
that's my favorite
They'll,
part.
yeah, all the chess principles, and
Yeah.
then you start learning and learning. You get more information. Like you have like a kind of like a bank where your currency is all these principles, all these little ideas that you've learned throughout however long you've been playing. But then eventually, once you've learned enough, you get stuck. You plateau for a little bit, and you wonder, huh, what do I do to elevate myself to the next step? How do I become an even stronger player or even an even stronger master.
Yeah.
And that's when I think that's when you have to start realizing that you have to start challenging principles. You have to go against the grain.
I would agree.
So
I would agree.
what you hmm?
Go ahead, finish your sentence. I'm sorry.
So what you learn to improve, it's kind of uh, this is a weird way to say it, but to learn you must unlearn. So learning, unlearning is probably the concept I'd use.
Yeah, I actually had a good example. Like it's when I'm hanging out with you. So basically, like these backwards moves that you're always so fascinated about.
Yeah.
Like my brain like before would tell me like we never even conceive of these moves, right? But these are actually some pretty good defensive and strategical ideas, right? When you look at it, down to the nitty gritty, right? I mean, people like Karpov and
Yeah.
they'll play moves like this, and it's like realizing just that little thing that you do, like your brain
Mm.
will not go down that path, but you retraining it to actually think about these kind of moves. I think that's what could take you to the next level.
Yeah, it's like I said before, it's to elevate yourself to the highest levels, it's learning, unlearning, or unlearning, learning. So you have to train yourself to break these principles. Because principles are good to know,
But they're not
but
rules.
they're not rules. They're not the truth. And this is what people get so attached to.
Right.
So the moment you learn when to break this is when you start improving.
I got raised my hand right now. I can say I'm one of those people.
Yeah. So it's quite a complicated thing, but that's how I feel you get to the next level.
No,
You start hacking away.
yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Learning your pawn structures,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, what was it? What's that one pawn thing I never do? Because I always feel like I don't want to disconnect my pawn. You know what I'm talking about? That I never
Um,
play this one pawn move. Like, I won't take with a pawn because I split it or something, but it's actually really the best move. But I say to myself, like, oh, I don't want to split my pawns. I don't want them to be disconnected.
are you talking about doubled pawns?
Not double pawns. I've come to learn that the double pawns are okay. But actually, when I first started playing chess, I was always told that they were bad.
Yeah.
Double pawns. But no, I'm talking about like I don't know if you can remember the one game I was playing where I was supposed to take with the pawn, but I took with the piece instead. But
Hmm.
it was because I didn't want to separate my pawns.
Yeah. There's always some pros and cons to
But it was
these
actually the
decisions.
best move.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like
Right.
you play too principled. If you become too principled, you become too rigid.
Yes, I
That makes sense.
basically
You
talked
have to be
myself out of
flexible.
playing the best move.
Yeah, you have to be flexible because after all these are principles, and you said these aren't rules. This isn't the truth.
Um,
Chess is the search for truth.
yeah,
These are just principles, are just guidelines to
guidelines. I was getting ready to say that.
yeah guidelines to point us towards the truth. But still, we should try to obey them. But you have to know when to stop listening.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's the
obviously,
creativity.
yeah, like you said, it's so filled with knowledge. But the problem I have is when I'm on the board and the clock's ticking, it's trying to
Hmm.
like remember all this knowledge while I'm on the board, like live.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's very difficult.
to think about
So you have
all the
all these things
knowledge,
on you. Hmm.
like all these different tactical names. Like I think there's more than 56, but this one article I read, like it says 56 tactics that you should know by heart, and then also
Oh wow.
36 mating patterns. And
Yeah,
that's a
they all have
lot.
their own names.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And you're trying to think about all the stuff on a live chessboard.
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. At some point, you have to start hacking away at the unessential, is what Bruce Lee would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You take
definitely.
what is necessary, and you hack away at the unessentials. So what's necessary are the rules. Then after that, you start building a
Like a
your
style,
information,
right?
like a bank of information, a huge pile. You have to start hacking away at it,
And then,
thinking, do I really need this? It's like living in luxury. Do I really need this?
you know what? That's actually very interesting. You made me think of something. So, let's just say me and you knew the same exact information, right? Nothing more, nothing less. Not one sentence difference. But you have a different style than me. You apply that information differently.
Mm-hmm.
Could that
Yeah, that's very
could that
true.
hurt you or benefit you? You think, depending on what kind of style you chose, or it doesn't matter?
Um, I mean, style is important, but style is important because it's what makes you you. Because if you play an aggressive player per se, and they start sacrificing, and you don't, they do a gambit, and you don't take their gambit, how does that make them feel?
Right.
You play all the solid moves. You know, you're getting them out of their comfort zone. So style, I think it plays some psychological factor in the games.
Do you think there's any like well-rounded like styles, like just not one better than the other?
I think maybe style is too much too rigid to say stuff. Maybe a chess personality would
There you
be
go.
more of the term I would use. Because style, it it is it's the crystallization.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. It's like the way like a
Yeah,
player approaches their game. You know.
yeah, yeah. I think a chess personality would be more of the term, and because you like for example, you have to adapt. And you know me, when I'm playing my games, I like to go aggressive, but when I get that little advantage, I like to consolidate. So
So you know how to pull
I
back.
go from I go from hard hitting moves to soft and defensive moves, right? To maintain the advantage.
And you know when to
This is
switch
what I
that on
think.
and off.
Yeah, yeah, you see me do it. Like I go all in, and then right when I win a pawn or something, I will get my king to safety. I will pull all my pieces around. I will try to eliminate all my weaknesses, and then right after that, I will once everything is safe, I will try to eliminate all my opponent's counterplay, and then right after that, I'll start thinking of my own plans when they have nothing, kind of like
Nice.
Karpov style.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think in the beginning when we start first playing chess, we don't think about that like that. Like
yeah,
if we start off as aggressive players, we just all we want to do is just throw the whole army down the board, and then yeah, that's all we're doing the whole game.
yeah.
You know.
This is like this is how you go downhill in the game real fast. Like you start off aggressive, okay, you get an advantage, but then you keep playing aggressive. It opens up more room for mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or could we say vice versa? You could play too passive and let your opponent just gain way too much tempo and just
yeah.
control the whole
It's
board.
it's the adaptation. You cannot stay the same person throughout the game. This you have to adapt to the certain situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you improve. You can
Yeah.
have your own unique style. Like Petrosian is not going to play like tall, but if
No.
the opportunity arises where he can attack, he probably will attack if he can see it through all the way. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like us being men, like we all want our own identity. You know, we have our own personalities, and we kind of like want our own style too. But it's like chess is so old, and there's just so many great people who came before us to play this. Like, I don't really see how you can adapt your own style because you're obviously
yeah.
always going to be copying from somebody that you admire.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, style has always been there since the probably the beginning of chess. There's always been, defensive players and
Yeah.
aggressive players, positional players. This is all stuff that's been there since the very existence of the game. But the personality, I think, is what makes us unique.
Yeah,
N-
we
not
go to that
not
back to
one
that
of
human
us.
connection thing.
Yeah, like there are chess impersonators, but these are just anomalies. I think most of us will be unique in our own style.
Yeah, I think just chess players in general, like we're like high
Yeah,
strung or something. Like we're just wired that way. Like uh, like a lot of these famous chess players, they're just like one of a kind, right?
yeah, one of a kind.
You,
That's for sure.
you just don't see them like as normal people, like working in the office building. Like you
Mhm.
wouldn't see a Macau Tao like working at at McDonald's or something, like taking
Nah.
your order. That guy was just built for chess.
Yeah,
You know.
he's a genius. One of the most creative geniuses in the entire game.
It's and that's what I love about the game too. Like just these characters that just impacted the game
Yeah,
so crazy.
yeah. A good chess player might have the a little bit of every great player before them in
Yeah,
their personality. It's like that common saying, "We're standing on the shoulders of giants."
yeah. I mean, even Fischer wasn't ashamed to admit it that Morphy, like that
Yeah,
came before him, was probably the greatest player that ever played the
yeah,
game. I mean, Fischer said that
hmm
out of his own mouth.
yeah.
So,
Exactly. We
uh,
all learn from the previous greats, and we take what we want, what we
yeah.
need.
and I don't think one style or one way of playing the game is more powerful than the
Yeah,
other. Because you can't always be too aggressive. You can't always be too defensive. You kind of got to be
yeah,
well rounded.
yeah, yeah.
But I guess that just comes with experience, right? I mean, would you say?
I forget what I was saying. I lost my train of
No, I
thought.
was saying that just comes with the experience, like playing the game and studying the game. Like this is how we learn to do these things on the board.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you develop your own uniqueness all over the board.
Yeah, and then
The most dangerous thing is to copy someone. It
yeah.
doesn't get you. It doesn't get you anywhere because you're just gonna burn out probably.
Well, let me ask you a question here, Doug. Let me see what your feeling is on this. So I've always been told to do these daily tactics, right? And like I said, if I'm not with somebody, I normally don't do the tactics. Now I've been playing chess since 2018, right? Between Lead Chess and Chess.com, literally have under 1,000 puzzles total, right? I should have tens of thousands of puzzles done, right?
Hmm.
Right?
Um,
Now it makes me think if I did this whole time, if I did like 25, 50 puzzles there, whatever it might have you, more than what I'm doing now, do you think how much better you think I would be?
I'm not even sure. Like, should is a very strong word. Like, I should do this
Right.
to get here. Um,
And
there's no correct answer.
no, I can't say a guarantee. I
Yeah.
can't say it with 100% certainty, but I just base my thoughts off of like what I've seen other people coming up in the game, and they said all they was doing is mad tactics, and they went from like an 800 to like a 1600 in like less than a year.
Yeah, I think it's you do what you think you need to do. Like, for example, like you feel really comfortable in the end game,
I do.
so therefore you might want to invest less time in the end game and work on say your tactics.
Right.
Yeah, because if you overinvest in one thing, your another area will be affected by this.
Yeah, I'd have to say I spent way too much time on openings. I think.
Yeah, it's the rounded chess player.
And I don't know what the whole stigma is behind that. I feel like that's the stigma of our generation right now. It's openings, 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 openings.
Because the openings to me are the most exciting. I
Yeah,
think a lot of
openings are
people like
cool,
it because there's so many ideas, so many crazy plans coming out of the openings,
but why
and
do
the fact that we can win right off the opening is what's
yeah?
so enticing.
But why do you think the
Like those,
high ups always we used to say like you shouldn't even be like getting into heavy opening theory till you're 2,000? Why do you think they say that
uh,
to us?
they probably say it to us because if we delve into the opening deep enough, we're gonna start encountering things we don't understand.
Or like
Like there are gonna be some lines we cannot comprehend. We're just memorizing moves. Like
yeah,
this is a big thing on Chessable. You just memorize moves you don't even know what the hell it is. We should first learn the ideas. And to learn the ideas, we have to study other aspects of the game, such as tactics, maybe strategy, all of this stuff. You have to learn all the technical stuff before you delve into this high level theory.
and what
But
like
openings are
every opening
important.
has its own objective.
Yeah, yeah. Openings, you should learn them. Like, don't run away from them. But you shouldn't do it to a point where you're learning things you don't understand. You should
Yeah,
only learn the basics, and then you start playing around and studying your games and other aspects of it too.
yeah. I think they were basically trying to just say like the heavy theory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Heavy theory.
trying to memorize like 400 lines of an opening.
And
Like
yeah,
and
that's
you're
one of the big
1,200.
problems I have with Chessable.
you
Yeah,
know.
that's one of the big problems I have with Chessable, or people using Chessable. Chessable is a good site for openings, but the thing is, people they try to memorize every little line, and then when they go into their like 1,200 games, they're like, "Why am I not using any of this
Exactly.
material I've learned? This is ridiculous." Yeah,
So all that time you spent studying all those lines were for nothing.
yeah. All those lines were just what memorization. Congrats, you have a good memory, but now what? It's got you nowhere.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been looking at that a lot now too, because I used to be
Yeah,
obsessed with the opening as well.
yeah. I prefer, like, for my black repertoire that we go over, the 1d6 one, we don't learn theory, we learn the ideas. Because the 1d6 openings, it opens up a whole new world of strategy.
It's
The
a
positions
whole
are
whole
rich.
different game.
Like we don't even know much theory. We just know we have to our objectives and what we need to do, the
The,
pawn structures,
right, the basic
etc.
pawn structures, where the pieces
Yeah,
should go.
yeah. The weaknesses, the pawn pushes, the thrusts, the
Yeah,
breaks, everything. We don't study line for line. I don't think we've ever studied our 1d6 opening to an extent where we're just memorizing lines. We go over the games, like the master games. We take the ideas and then we use it on our games.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't even studied many lines in the Pyrrhics,
yeah,
but I just
yeah.
know the general idea. Like the main
Yeah, this is
idea
what's
of the
important.
Pyrrhics is to tear down the center. You let your opponent build up a big center, and basically you're gonna come tear down that motherfucker.
Yeah,
You're gonna tear it
yeah,
down like the Berlin Wall, right? You know,
yeah,
Mr.
uh,
Gorbachev, can you please tear down this wall?
yeah. And let's say even if you do memorize the lines, like all the lines in a specific course, it will take you to maybe a higher level, but then eventually if you want to start competing, these people will have an easy time preparing against you because they know what you're going to do every single time.
All right,
There's no surprise factor anymore.
well, let's put that into perspective. Okay, so and how many openings you think? Okay, that one person needs to be for white, even if they had 3 openings, and let's say the courses were 600 lines apiece. That's 612. What 18?
Mm-hmm.
1800 moves?
1800 moves.
And then you do that again for black side. We're looking at over 3,000 moves you got to memorize.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to do that? What normal person is going to be able to do that?
Someone who gets paid for it. That's who.
No, but I'm saying what normal person, like us as
Yeah.
hobbyists. We spend all this money on Chessable,
To learn
you know,
3,000 lines.
and I know I'm never going to memorize all of it,
Yeah. And I have no intention of memorizing it.
you know. Well,
And I don't think
that was
there
the
is.
plan. That was my initial plan. That's why I bought that's why I bought the course. I thought it would make me better in that
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah. I think it's just what is it about
See, this
Chessable?
is like we're back to the evolution, right? So this is what I thought you had to do to get better, but guess what? Now I evolve. Guess what I do now? I
Yeah.
study master games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
This is
I look at
way
how
more.
they win the game. What are they
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. That brings us to the brings me to a point where we used to do the guess the move. That oh my god, that thing! It took us. We used to spend like 1 hour a game for the book, and we didn't even try to guess the moves. We
No,
just went through it by hand.
our
But then
average was
once we
two
started
hours,
doing,
Doc. 2 hours.
huh? Yeah, but
Usually 2 hours.
yeah, but once we started doing guess the move, it was like 2 hours, three
Yeah,
hours even. Yeah,
and I would say that's pretty good because I feel like most
yeah,
people would try to want to rush through it.
yeah. We should probably tell the viewers what guess the move strategy is. Yeah.
Do you want to tell them that's like one of your favorite things?
Yeah, so guess the move is okay, you open up a master game. You go through the moves. Okay, you skip through the opening because obviously you cannot guess the opening. But once the opening is over, you start guessing all the moves the grandmaster plays. So so what you do is you guess the move, you write down the variations, and then after you feel confident with your analysis of the next move, you check it with the book, and if your move's there, then congrats, you found what the master plays, and if it's not there, you check the sidelines like the sub variations, and if it's still not there, I suggest turning on the engine for the top 3 moves, and if your move is still not there, you figure out why it's not there, and then you just keep repeating it over and over for every single move.
I think
That's
that's a good
how you
strategy.
learn the. Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing to do. Very time consuming, but it's the
No, but
quality
it gets you
of
to
the
think, right?
content. Yeah, because you can, and if you want to take it an extra step, you can have the clock on your screen to simulate the actual game. And it's another fun way to do it.
Also, we got to shout out Forward Chess on that because
Yeah, or a chess, hell
see
yeah.
now you could do that because you have the digital copy. See, I have the book
Yeah.
and they have the answer right under the thing. You literally can't miss it. So
Yeah.
you can't do guess the move because the answer is always right there in your front of your face. Now,
Yeah.
if there was a book you bought specifically and where they would put the answer sheet on it, like the back of the book or something, you couldn't see it. That would be cool.
Hmm. Yeah, it's sometimes it's just like it's in big bold words, and your eyes are drawn to it.
Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, huh, I wish I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but I think it's so cool because then it lets you try to figure out what do you feel like is the best move for this position.
Hmm.
And and,
And if
and if you match up with
another
the
way to
actual
do it,
move the Grandmaster played, dude, you know how great that makes you feel?
dude, you know how I feel when that
Yeah.
shit happens,
I think
or when you find a
anybody.
move, or when you find the move better than the what the Grandmaster played, that makes you feel super good, man.
No, when you find a better move than the engine.
Oh yeah, the
That's a good
better
one.
move than the engine.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, that shit was crazy.
I remember when you
Those
showed
are
me
those are
that.
my favorite moments.
See,
What do you say?
I remember you showed me that game.
Yeah,
See, the computer has its own plan and ideas, right?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. The computers, the problem is that we treat them like gods and they're never wrong, so we just follow them blindly.
Right. But
Computers aren't perfect yet,
no, I mean
and yet it's
they're strong.
stronger.
They're strong. I mean, they'll probably like if they were ever playing like to regular people, they'll probably never lose. The problem is that they have their own way of thinking and their own way
Yeah,
of handling things, and that might not match up with what you want to do.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
Computers have their own.
they
I
have
don't
their
know
own
how.
agenda.
Yeah, like we take account other things. They have an algorithm, but we don't. We have experience
No,
instead of an
we like to
algorithm.
play what we like to play. Like we're the
Yeah,
underdogs, right? Like the computer would never play the Scandy or the Pierce, right?
no.
No, they're gonna play the main line stuff, the top line
They're gonna
stuff
play
that
E5.
equalizes the
They're
most
gonna play
quickly.
C5. Yeah,
Because that's what the computer's thinking about from the very first move is I want to get an advantage or I want to equalize or I want to win. But when we
yeah.
play, we're actually putting that off. Like we're starting the game with a with down a little bit.
Offbeat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it plays a huge factor into the game because we can play we can play an offbeat opening. The reason why it's better is because it's a surprise opening. We know that we're gonna know more than our opponent, and that's gonna give us the advantage in some perspective. But if you play an engine, it's always gonna be the same level against every opening. That makes any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so. What was I going to say? So what you call it? Yeah, so I like the opening that I like to play because I like that challenge. I like to give my opponent the big center because that's the thing in chess, right?
Yeah.
If you take the center, you control the game, or that person is is leading the game. So I give that to them, and then later I feel like I want to come back and crush them.
Yeah, you start striking it down when your king is safe or your pieces are ready to go.
Yeah,
Like your C5 push, your E5 push.
yeah, and
Just like
it's
the Scandy does the same thing, yeah.
but yours is like the Scandy is more, but that's like that attacks right away, right? So that's like a
Yeah,
counter
it's very
attacking opening,
provocative.
right?
Yeah.
Aggressive opening.
Mhm.
And something about the hyper modern school. It's how does it go? How do I forget the quote? Is it uh, was it first restrain, blockade, then destroy?
Hmm.
I really like that quote.
Is that a Nimzowitsch quote?
That's it's from the like Reddy and all them the guys who came up with the hyper
Oh
modern.
yeah.
So when he says restraint, that's me like, let the guy take the center, just, kind of
Mhm.
trying to control it from with my pieces from the side. Now I'm going to blockade. Now, lastly,
Yeah.
destroy.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of like an argument kind where you say okay, you have the center, but is this an asset or is that a weakness?
See, I mean,
And that's what you're trying to prove.
right. And also, this is just
One
what we're
side's
always
trying to
being
prove
told,
that
right?
one side is trying to prove that the control of the center is an asset, but you're trying to prove the opposite. You're proving that okay, you have the center, but this could be targeted.
Exactly.
So it's like a battle of ideas,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
proving who's right or wrong.
yeah. And that's why I like the game so much, you know?
And then sometimes no one's wrong. It's just a draw. Could always end up that way. We always forget about these draws.
Yeah, and there's actually one time where I thought like somebody was talking in the chat room one time and they said like so would perfect play is chess always just a draw, and this guy like literally was like so hell bent on the idea that he quit chess because that like literally pissed him off. That with perfect
What?
play, the chess is just always a draw. But I don't
Okay,
think
but
that's
who's
true.
perfect?
Right.
Wha-
Yeah, it just blew my mind because this guy was only like not even 1500. So like he's not going to draw every
Wow.
game. You know what I mean? So it just kind of blew my mind. But that notion, like that idea of like if chess is played perfectly, it'll always end in a draw. That kind of like pushed him away from the game. But
It
I mean, that
even the engines don't play.
exactly
Engines still have decisive results, and
right. Engine
we
beats
again we
engine.
see them as gods.
Right.
We follow them blindly, yet they still lose to each other.
I mean,
It's
we think that
it,
they're going to figure out
perfect
the
is
game.
too hard. It's
I don't even think the engines are going to figure out the game, bro. It's just too complex.
not in our lifetime. Probably not.
And the only reason these draws happen is because of those certain kinds of positions that arise on the board, right?
Yeah.
Is where each side can't like make progress and like keep moving
Mhm.
forward, right?
Yeah.
And these positions happen.
Mm-hmm. And he shouldn't be worrying about draws, dude. He's under 1500.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what really threw me for a loop.
That's when you're having fun.
Yeah.
When you're under 1500,
Well,
you,
see
you
now
just
now we're at
you
another
just start
topic,
throwing
right?
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I really think people take chess too seriously, even the hobby players,
Hmm?
because everybody wants to get better, right? Everybody wants to play better.
Yeah.
I mean,
You do what you want to do. That's another thing. If you're unhappy studying, you're not gonna improve that much. It's gonna hamper you. You're just gonna burn out.
yeah.
You just do what you want, and you might progress slower than someone being forced
I mean,
to study, but at least you're having fun.
right? Like think of
And
the old days.
fun is a great motivator.
Yeah, remember the old days we used to play at night? We just throw pieces down the board. We didn't care what
Yeah,
happened. We blundered a piece or anything. We were just laughing our asses off, just having a good old time. We didn't care.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's how it's a game. Like that's how I still look at it. I try to look at it as a game, but
yeah,
sometimes like that serious like player in me like creeps up in. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. A lot of us, we're too fixated on improving. We're too fixated on getting to the next level, the next step.
Right.
But we often forget that this is a game when we're supposed to have
Yeah.
fun.
We
And
almost look at it like as like our manhood's on the line or
yeah,
something. We have to hit that like upper echelon or we're like less
yeah,
than.
yeah. Fun is the most important thing because when you have fun, it's gonna motivate you naturally.
I,
Like the joy of playing
right.
will try to bring you to a new level of skill.
Yeah, and I think
Like
anybody who just like sits down to play a game of chess and just has a fun time doing it, not worrying about if
yeah,
I blunder a piece or just doing like even fun ideas that don't even work, but just laughing at it. Like
yeah,
anybody would have a fun time and be laughing and smiling and
yeah.
get a lot of joy
And then
out of
you'll
it.
want to keep playing more and more. You want to keep learning to
You
have more
know,
fun ideas. Yeah, like you can look at Ivanchuk. He's kind of like that.
and that's kind of the more we talk about this stuff, the more I want to get back to that point, man. Like
Mhm.
uh, I still do want to get better, but let it come at its own, like let it come at its own pace. Like
Yeah,
don't keep trying to force it. Don't
don't
keep trying
force
to
it. Yeah,
pressurize myself that feel like I have to do it.
yeah, yeah. You're gonna tire yourself out, and you're just gonna get upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not a professional.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should be enjoying the game, not getting
Mm-hmm.
mad at it.
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn it! I just lost
We
20 rating points.
we often forget why we started playing chess.
Right.
It's we have to keep the inner beginner in us.
Yeah, and from
Wherever you go, you have to keep the beginner of you, because if you remind yourself why you started, then maybe you won't take the losses so seriously or studying so seriously.
well, actually, I'd like to hear yours. 'Cause mine still stands true to this day. Mine was all about the social aspect, which I still do to this day. The
The
social
social
aspect.
aspect.
Yeah, is why
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got into chess.
Yeah, for me too. It was the social aspect. Just toying around with the pals,
Yeah, because
just going to tournaments. It's the memories we create on
yeah.
and off the board.
I mean, but some of these guys are just built different. Like they'll be sitting in the room all day. They don't care if they're by themselves or not. They're just crunching lines. They're fucking crushing
Yeah,
books, playing 20
yeah.
games a day.
like Fisher. Some people just have a profound love for chess and they
I
enjoy studying.
see. That's the thing. I see. It'll always be a debate, but in my mind, Fisher. No one can ever be Fisher because of the dedication the man put in. I don't
Yeah.
think there's anyone out there that could outclass Fisher when it comes to studying the game of chess.
Yeah, his work ethic was insane. And this is probably unmatched to this day.
Exactly. And look what he did for chess.
Yeah.
And then his whole story about putting the whole country on his back. I mean, who could beat that?
Mhm. Yeah, he sacrificed a lot for the game.
Right.
For his
And maybe
improvement.
that's why he ducked, like we were talking about earlier when we woke up and we started talking. We were saying, why did he never defend his title? Maybe he was just burnt out, dude.
Yeah. He got what he wanted. Well, he
Yeah,
has nothing
he
else
made
to prove,
champion. And he
maybe.
had nothing else to prove, but he beat everybody.
Yeah. He did want to keep it at one point, right after he won the world championship. Remember, he had that
Well,
interview. He was
yeah.
like, "Yeah,
So,
I plan on being world championship for 10 more years." Then he disappeared.
but also remember what we said too. Remember we were doing hypotheticals. We say if this would happen, I think Five made 95% of his demands. That was the reason
Yeah.
why he didn't come back. He said they didn't meet all his
Mhm.
demands.
Yeah.
But
Fisher was pretty stubborn on
yeah,
this
but
stuff.
Fisher was always trying to do what was best for the game, right?
Yeah.
He was trying to get the right color contrast down, like the right piece, the best pieces, the best lighting, the best rooms, the best money, the best
Mm-hmm.
everything for the game. That's how much respect he had for the game.
Yeah. It was Fisher's way or no way at all.
Pretty much.
Yeah. This is all like
And most people conceded
undocumented
to him.
territory. Yeah.
You know?
That's it's a whole nother topic. The
I,
hypotheticals of
yeah, I mean, I
what
think
would
the list
happen
was
in
long
Fisher's
too,
way.
Duck, and they met 95% of what he wanted, like literally,
Hmm.
and like they wouldn't budge on like the last couple things.
Yeah. He could have also tried to negotiate, but who knows?
No, well, Fisher, he said, well, you're either gonna make it like
He's
this or I'm not playing.
Yeah. Fisher was a yes or no kind of guy. There is no like, well,
No,
okay, maybe you can lower the money, but I want this in return, like a sponsorship.
no
I don't
way,
know.
no way.
Yeah, Fisher is like, I need this,
Yes,
and if you say no, then I'm gone.
I'm not even
There is
showing
no
up.
ifs or buts.
And
Yeah,
guess what? Now you're not gonna get as much promotion because I'm not there.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But like you said, that's another topic for another day, another episode.
Mhm. You have
Um,
another episode.
How do you feel we did today on touching on self improvement? Do you feel like there's more we need to talk about on this episode? We can do, we can, obviously it might be another second episode more self improvement, or what do you think? Is there
I
stuff we
think we,
missed?
I think we touched the bases on stuff we needed. And
Okay.
there's gonna be some criticism. I'll get back to you when I re-listen to it. But
Yeah,
I think for now I'm pretty happy with this.
right. And guys, if you're listening out there, there's no one single way to get better at chess. Everybody you talk to in the chess community, the chess world, is going to give you something different. Like today, I might say do this, and tomorrow another guy's going to say, well, don't do that, do this.
Yeah,
You
of
kind of got to
course.
find your own way, but there is like the basics. Do your tactics, puzzles. Learn your basics of your openings and the ideas and plans and structures. Look at your end games, and then look at some master games, and it's just basically the basics.
Yeah, I like you have to find your own way part.
You
You have
do,
to
you
be
do.
the individual. You can't just follow someone's cookie cutter plan.
Right. I tried that, dude. You know how many times I switched openings?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why when giving advice, you don't give them like concrete things. You try to adapt to the person.
It seems like, but in chess they do though, right? They say, well, you need to
Yeah,
do this and this and this and this.
yeah, I don't believe in that
Me neither.
kind of
Me
thinking.
neither. No. But because it also has to be fun for you, right? Like,
Yeah,
like if I'm
as
sitting here
well.
2 hours a day and I'm doing like studying something that like really drives me insane, but someone told me I have to do it to get better, and I'm only doing it because I want to get better, but I was like hating it every moment. That's no fun,
Yeah,
you know?
it's no fun, and you're just gonna hate it.
Yeah. I mean, you want to do stuff you like to look at, like
Yeah,
So I would say that's my advice, and my highest rating on Lee Chess correspondence was 1717. So I've
yeah.
been playing for 4 years. I'm not a noob. I consider myself an intermediate player.
Yeah, chess improvement is all about self-discovery. You find out the things that you need and the things you don't need.
Yeah.
You, you and that's it, basically.
Yeah, I think we
You
touched on
find
a
these.
lot of
You
good
have to
stuff.
find these things out for yourself. There is no magic formula that's just gonna fix your chess skill.
No, but it
You have
is
to do this on your own.
it is so complex though, especially when you first start out. It is
Yeah,
nice to have somebody there to kind of help guide you.
yeah, like a coach, but
Like this
coaches
whole buddy
will not.
system between me and you, it was the greatest thing
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah, it is. Because it's fun, and it gives us the human connection that we want.
Right.
Remember when
It's
you asked
motivating.
why did you start playing chess? It's the human connection, the longing to be closer to somebody.
Right.
This is why our buddy system works.
Yeah, it's much more fun to me to read a book with someone else and be like, yo, did you see that? Yo, can you believe we could do that?
Yeah,
Then just
we,
sitting there
we,
by
we get to bounce
myself,
off.
all
Yeah, we get to bounce
quiet.
off each other's energy.
Right.
Yeah,
Compared to if you were just doing it by yourself, you'd just be reading a book and just be all dull. But, to
I
each
feel
his
you.
own. I'm not knocking anybody out there that
Yeah,
does it on their own, but what I'm
yeah,
saying, to each his own, but that's my way of doing it.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
um, you know,
Yeah, you can study on your own. You can study with your friends. It doesn't matter as long as you're
that's
happy
just
with
my
it.
way. That's my way.
Yeah, that's our way.
Yeah.
Looks
But,
like we did pretty good.
yeah, Duck, I think we had a good episode, dude. We touched on a lot of great points for people who are trying to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're still trying to improve ourselves. So there'll
It's a
be more
never-ending
episodes down the
process.
road, never-ending process, and we'll touch base on this in like a couple months from us again.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we will have other guest people on the show talking about their experience, but we'll save our experience to about maybe a month or two down the road to see how much farther we've gotten. Maybe we can
Mm-hmm.
share some new stuff with you that we found.
Yeah.
But yeah. So hey, thanks for supporting the podcast, and thanks for listening, and thanks for coming
Thanks
out.
for the invite.
And we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next one. Later.
Later.